The Happy Handyman Show. I'm Trudy Chook, broadcasting live from Johnny Chook's Home and Hardware. Let me tell you where we're located. We're at 2361 Northwest Military Highway. The phone number here is 210-341-1573. So if I'm talking to you about a project or a product and you want to give the store a call, just give them a call. We're going to be open today till 6:30. If you also would like to look at the product while we're having the show, you could go to Facebook, Johnny Chook's Home and Hardware, and you'll see me, and I'll show you the products. And we record, of course, we record these, and they go out on our website. So if you ever want to go back and look at it again, you can go back and check and see what product it was that we're talking about. Speaking of websites, it's happyhandyman.com. And all the things that I'm going to talk about today, you're going to find there on the website. If you don't live in San Antonio, but you would like it delivered, we do that too. So it's we are a full-service hardware store, and we're making a lot of changes this year. Not, I think, things that you will be unhappy with, but things that you will be very happy with. And speaking of the very first change is our radio show. Our radio show has been at 3 o'clock for, I think, about 7 or 8 years. Let me give you a little background on it, because I want you to understand how thrilled I am about what's getting ready to happen. Before we were on WOAI, Dad and I were on another radio station, and then Dad passed away, and I continued the show, and they called me one Friday and said, Trudy, this radio station is no longer going to do talk radio. And I went, okay. And they said, no talk radio, Trudy. So even on the weekends. I said, so you mean I want to have a radio show? And they go, yes, it means no radio show. Whoa, all I could think about is what was I going to do? Because our radio advertising, we have been doing this ever since I can remember. I mean, my dad was on the radio with Howard Edwards, Carl Wigglesworth. I mean, I can just name all these wonderful people that really helped launch our career in radio. And we now, I mean, this is how people know us. This is how people reach us, is with this radio show. And so when I realized that we were not going to be able to get on another radio station, because nobody, if you have a radio show, you don't let it go, because there's no going anyplace else to get it. And so it was Christmas, I guess about 7 years ago. I had already been talking to TV stations and newspaper, and I didn't know what else to do. It was very hard because my dad had just passed away, and I didn't have anybody I could talk to. And so I was going home the night of our Christmas party, and I had told everybody that the next day I was going to sign a contract with a TV station, and that's what we were going to do. I was not thrilled with it, but you know, if you don't have anything, you take what you can get. And so as I was driving home that night, a lady from WOAI, Karen, called me and said, Trudy, something happened that never happens. The gentleman that had the 3 o'clock show has decided not to go forward with it. Would you like it? I went, yeah. I couldn't believe it. I mean, talk about last minute. I mean, it was the last minute, and this radio show came open. And we had an hour, and for a couple of years, my brother-in-law would do the show with me, because it was kind of difficult doing the show by myself without my dad to banter off of. I mean, have you ever tried to just talk for an hour without anybody to talk back to? Sometimes it's kind of hard. I know you don't believe that because I can talk. If you get me started on paint or delete germ or freeze misers, I can talk forever, okay? And so I talked to the lady that was doing our radio show, and I said, hey, I think, could I possibly just do a half-hour show? And she goes, I think we can do that. And the person that has the show on after you would love an hour. So then we just started doing a half-hour show. And about a couple of years after that, I realized that had probably been not a very good idea. And but I was just kind of resigned to it, that I would just make it work. And then a couple of weeks ago, they called me and they said that the 9 o'clock hour show was going to be available, and would I like it? Well, yeah. I mean, fresh off the garden show? Heck yeah. I mean, I'll have people that don't normally listen to a show at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I want y'all to all be a part of that, because I am like super stoked about it. I am so excited. That is about the time that we used to be on many, many years ago. And it is a great time of the day because you catch people before they even get started for the day, and you talk to them about projects that they want to do, and all of a sudden they are having answers to their day, just like we're going to do today. So next time you hear my voice, it will be at 9 o'clock, fresh off the garden show, and I'll have a whole hour. And let me tell you, I've got some exciting ideas for that show since we're going to have an hour. Who knows what we can do? So please join me next week at 9 o'clock on WOAI. But for this week, let's talk about some things. You know, it's kind of chilly outside, and even though the sun is shining, it's kind of hard if you're my age or anybody. I don't do too well outside. If you've lived in Texas all your life, this kind of weather, you don't do too well outside. Our blood's not made for it. So let's do some project inside the house. And I want to say a big hi to the people that are watching on Facebook right now. Hey, Karen, thanks for watching and tuning in. Okay, so what's a good project for inside the house that will give you a lot of, it makes you feel good because it makes such a difference? How many of you have wood stained cabinets in your house? Not painted, but wood stained. And they're beautiful, maybe they're dark, maybe they're light maple, but sometimes what can happen being in the kitchen is, you know, we have a lot of heat with the ovens. You get a lot of grease in the air by cooking on the stove. And sometimes your kitchen cabinets can start to look dull. So what can you do? Something super simple. It's a product, it's made by Howard's. If you're not familiar with Howard's, they do beautiful stuff for wood and other materials too. We'll talk about that on a different show. But they make a product called Feed and Wax. And this product will deepen the color of the stained cabinets. If they look dry, they will enrich them. They just look like you put a whole nother coat of varnish, but you didn't. All you did was put about a dime's worth on a cloth and wipe it down just like you were dusting, and it will bring back the color in the wood. And plus, it smells so good because it's made with beeswax and orange oil, and it's just a great product. It has been around forever, and you can use it on all wood. Like if you want to use it on your furniture and things like that, you can, but these are wonderful for kitchen cabinets, also bathroom cabinets. Now, if you have on your cabinets maybe a little discoloration, maybe you get some sun in some areas and that sun just beats down on it, or this is where I found that people have a lot of problem with, is right below the sink, because you get a lot of splashing from that sink, especially like say you do, you know, a lot of people will wash their dogs in their sink. I wash Max in the sink and I get water down there, and it will leave water spots on it. And after a little while, they look white, and especially like in your bathroom. So if you have stained cabinets, the product you want to use is a product called Restore a Finish. It's just like Howard's. This is a Howard product also. It is been around for a long time. In fact, they put it on there since 1969. I mean, it seems like longer, but it restores color to the wood, and it blends out scratches and blemishes. It will remove white heat rings, and you just wipe it on and wipe it off. Now, how does it restore color to the wood when you've got varnish on it? Well, it's solvent based, okay? You'll be able to smell that when you open it up. And it's the only thing that will penetrate below the varnish and color the wood underneath without stripping. How many of you see so many people and they want to restain their cabinets? So what's the first thing they do? They start stripping off the varnish, and then they restain, and then they have to revarnish again. Which, you know, if you don't have anything else to do, okay. But I love Plan Bs, and this is definitely a Plan B. Plan B, you know, you can do it quickly. You still get a satisfaction of a job well done, and it's so easy to use. Like on the Restore Finish, you just use a soft cloth, maybe an old t-shirt, and you just put some on there, and you start wiping it on your cabinets in the direction of the wood. Go in one direction and apply color to that wood. It will take out all those white spots. It will take out heat rings. It will take, if you have a little discoloration because maybe you've got some sunshine coming in on some cabinets. And then after you get done with the Restore Finish, you want to apply the feed and wax. If you don't have any discoloration, just do the feed and wax. Now, Howard's took it up a notch too. How many of you looked at your front doors lately? Okay, so if you have some fading on your front doors, and this is for stained front doors, this is both of those things. If you have painted surfaces, it's not for that, okay? But a stained front door, you can use a product called Sun Shield, also made by Howard's, except this one is a little different because yes, it has beeswax and orange oil, but it has a UV protectant in it. So how many of you have a door that faces the west? So maybe the top of your door is just fine, but then as the sun goes down in the evening, the bottom part of your door gets beat, and you'll lose color there. If you're not careful, you'll lose the finish. So catch it before you start losing the varnish on that door. If you have peeling varnish, it's too late. So catch it early when it looks like it's just dry, okay? Maybe even you have a little white cast to it. It's still okay as long as you have your varnish intact. And put on Sun Shield with protectant. It will make it look like you just refinished the door. It's simple, same thing, t-shirt, about a quarter's worth, go in the same direction in the grain of the wood, and just go over the whole door and let it dry. They'll tell you to polish it off. I haven't ever done that before. I just leave it on there, and then the next day I go out and look, could it use a second coat? Because if you want to, you can. If you are missing a whole lot of color, you can use the Restore Finish. It's so simple, really simple, and great results. Hey Cindy, thanks for watching on Facebook. Now, how many of you have a stainless steel sink or a porcelain sink, or maybe even a composite sink because you have granite and you bought one of those granite composite sinks? How do you make those look good? Well, if you have a stainless steel sink, there are several polishes that are so good. Sheila Shine is my favorite. It is a spray. You spray it on, you wipe it off, and it will make your stainless steel sink just gleam. It'll take out water spots, any kind of staining, okay? So simple to use. If you've got a porcelain sink, just like your porcelain toilet or porcelain tub, the thing to use is Delete Germ. You just use a little bit on a rag and start cleaning, and you rinse immediately. Don't, especially if you have a white sink. A lot of people will use bleach, okay? Bleach, most people think is a cure-all. But bleach is very hard on porcelain, okay? It will actually take the porcelain finish off. It may not seem like it the first time or even the second time, but by the third time that you start filling up your sink with water and you add bleach to it and let it sit to pull out all the stains, it's going to affect the porcelain. So don't use bleach. Just don't. Use Delete Germ. It's safe, it's fast, and it smells good too. And it'll polish up your porcelain and it'll make it look brand new. It'll take out any kind of stain. So it is safe. And then rinse, okay? And then whatever sponge you have, make sure you do not leave that sponge just sitting in the sink. You want to make sure it's completely rinsed free, because if you just let it drip on there, it can stain it, okay? Now, what if you have a composite sink? They are absolutely beautiful, aren't they? And they look so nice with your granite, but what happens is they get hard water stains on them. And then a composite, it's really tough to know what to do to take care of it. So there is a product made by Howard's. I know I'm talking a lot about Howard's today, called Wax It All. Wax It All will make that composite sink look like brand new again. It will restore the color. It'll remove all the hard water stains and make it look good. And the nice part about it, it's food grade. So you don't have to worry about you putting something in your sink and then you're gonna be washing dishes or rinsing off vegetables or anything like that. It's all food safe, and you can keep using it over and over again. It doesn't build up. It just makes your composite sink look really, really good. All right, let me tell you where we're located again. We're at 2361 Northwest Military Highway. Now, the store is going to be open till 6:30 today, so anything that I'm talking about, if you want to come in today, and then tomorrow we're open 11 to 5. And that's not going to change. I know I said we're going to make a lot of changes, but that is something that is not going to change right now. We're 8 to 6:30, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 5 on Saturday. And the phone number is 210-341-1573. Have you thought about cleaning out your refrigerator lately? You just get a lot of stuff in there, and all of a sudden you realize you've got stuff that expired 2 years ago. So if you're going to be cleaning out your refrigerator and cleaning off all the shelves and things like that, do yourself a favor. How many of you buy produce, and especially like organics? Organics are wonderful, but they have zippity-doo-dah shelf life, right? So unless you're eating them like right then or cutting them up and freezing them, they just do not last long. Yes, they're better for you. I do that. So I always complained about that, because I would buy produce and things like that, and sometimes when I would get home late, I didn't feel like cooking, so then my produce would sit. And 3 or 4 days later, guess what? I was throwing out the produce, buying new produce, and it's like this domino effect. All I did was buy it and throw it out, and buy it and throw it out. And if that's happening to you, let me suggest something. It's this thing called a fresh cube. And a fresh cube is it's this little square that you put in your refrigerator. You open it up, you peel off the wrap around it, and it will keep your produce fresher longer. And not just a little bit longer, a lot longer. So I had strawberries one time that they were organic. They lasted 2 weeks. 2 weeks. When's the last time you had strawberries that lasted 2 weeks? Not very often. And zucchini and broccoli and grapes, all kinds of stuff. And I just keep it in my refrigerator. It comes in a 2-pack, and each one is good for 3 months. So you get a half a year's worth right here. I usually, what I do is I buy one, I give one to my mom, and I keep one, and then they're like $24.99, and it really does keep your produce. And you don't, the only thing you have to remember is if your produce is sealed, like up in a bag, like your carrots or whatever you're having, okay, just open it up. Open the bag up. If you have like berry boxes, I have berry boxes, and they're all open around the sides. That's all you have to do. And you just leave your fresh cube about in the middle of the refrigerator, and that's it. It's so simple to use. All right, so I want to talk to you real quick again about freeze protection. I'm going to recommend every time a product that we sell called Freeze Miser, okay? To me, it is the most dependable freeze protection that you can get, and it's so simple. A Freeze Miser, if you can install a garden hose on your faucet, you can install a Freeze Miser. Now, right now, we're going to have 70-degree weather by the middle of next week. It's going to be super cold tonight and freezing in the morning, and then I think on Monday it still drops down to freezing. So, you know, you want to keep a Freeze Miser on. You install it, okay? You turn the water on full, okay? You don't just barely dribble it. You turn the water on full. The Freeze Miser will take care of everything. It will not let your faucet drip unless it needs to, because it's got a thermal wax on the inside, and when the thermal wax gets cold from the water temperature, not the air temperature, then it will start releasing water and drip. Just like what we used to do a million years ago. How many of you remember your dad going outside and dripping all the faucets, okay? And just letting them drip. And then Daddy would go inside, drip all the inside faucets, open up the cabinet doors and to keep the heat on. Well, with Freeze Miser, you don't have to do that, and you don't have to guess, is it gonna be cold enough to freeze? Just put it on and forget about it until springtime again, and then you can take it off. Now, what I like to do is I put a Y connector on my faucet, I put a Freeze Miser on one side, and I put my garden hose on the other. Because like I said, by Wednesday, it's gonna be 70 degrees. And all those plants that you bring back outside again, the best thing you can do is water them really good. And so that way you turn off the Freeze Miser and turn on the side for your hose, and you can water. Now, speaking of hoses, let me give you some hints on some really good hoses, because you know sometimes when you go to the store, they'll have like 80 different hoses. You don't want that many choices, right? I just want a hose that I know is going to do a good job. All right. So if a lightweight hose is what you want, I would suggest a Hydrotech, okay? Ribbon hoses, and this is really not a true ribbon hose. Yes, they're lightweight, but the older ribbon hoses, they would burst all the time. But these Hydrotechs have a really good reputation, and they're lightweight, and they have, well, of course, they're kink proof, but the connections are like commercial grade connections, so they hold up really well, okay? And if lightweight is what you want, these are the ones to choose. Now, if you want a little bit heavier hose, I would suggest Never Kink. They really never kink. They're made by Technor Apex, and it's the hose that I use in my yard, in the front yard, and in the backyard. And they never kink. They never kink. They will hold up for years. So they are a little bit more expensive, but like I say, they hold up really well. And you can get them anywhere from a 25 foot to a 150 foot. So those are really good hoses. I stay away from anything else. We do have more of a selection, but those are the ones that I recommend. All right, so let me tell you a couple of other new things that are going to happen. I've got about a minute left. All right, we have always carried Traeger grills, which we will always do special order. If you want a Traeger grill, I will special order Traeger grills for you. I can get them out to do it best. But about 2 years ago, I decided if I could find a better grill, I was going to invest in it. And Broil King has come up with a great setup for grills. We're going to have a whole display in the middle of the store, and we had to move the store aisles out away and add more space in the middle of the store for that. So we're going to be having that put in about the middle of February, and a whole lot more. It's going to be really exciting here. You guys have got to come by and see me. But that's it for this week, folks. Remember, next week we're on at 9 o'clock, and I can't wait to talk to you. Take care, and remember, it will always be a great day to paint. See you next week.